Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hunger Games. That's right, you're tuning into a live episode of Jacob's Ladder. I'm your host, Jacob Israel, and we have quite a show for you. So many things that are happening, stressful things. But today I'm here to amaze you. I'm here to show you that God is still on the throne and that you got nothing to worry about because this is the day that we're in. Probably saw that title. More dreams are coming true. What is new? It's a coinky-dinky-doo. All of these things we're going to talk about today. We got the stuff that happened in Australia. MIT and Brown? It's the same guy. We got a serial killer in our midst, it seems. So many things that are stressing a lot of people out are just giving me quite a bit of excitement. And why wouldn't I be excited? It's a new day that we're in. Remember, the time comes, well, God, what he does is he creates a new heaven, he creates a new earth, and there ain't nothing you can do about it but be happy. Things are changing. So I hope that you're awesome. We see a lot of people here already. Do me a favor, will you? Smash that like, get this going. Welcome to the Hunger Games, my friends. You probably heard that Trump, he's going to institute something I think sounds really, really cool. The Patriot Games. Just think of like probably something like, remember American Gladiator? It was a cool show. How cool would that be? We got like an American Gladiator type show going. One man, one woman from each state is going to compete. Now, why is this interesting? Well, because this is something that we've been saying was going to come. But, instead of looking at it through the lens of fear, now we have something to maybe be a little excited about. We're going to see. I'm so happy you're here. I want everybody to do me a favor and smash the like. And let's get into this show. Let's start off. We'll start off with the beginning. And hopefully that my internet is doing great. We're going to start off with the Trumpster right here. Everybody had you freaked out, right? You were all scared. Everybody was like, it's Venezuela. It's done. We're going to WAR. And I was like, well, I was like, no, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I said, these people, they're going to set you up. They're going to get you all freaked out and everything else. And then what we found out was basically Trump got everybody so excited. They're calling him like the greatest troll of all time or something. I don't think that maybe he did. Maybe he put everybody. Maybe they're all operatives, right? I was going to say, I don't think that he put Tucker out, after this. But he said, we have so many people telling us, Congress, they're saying, get ready. You can't just announce that. These are things that have to be done like the proper way. It's got to go through Congress and everything else. So, of course, I thought to myself, this is probably a big distraction. And then what happens? We watch him do a victory lap in such a huge way. You could just take a listen to a little of this. This is him because he's going to be giving out, just so you know, he's going to be giving out $1,776 to the troops.
It's in the new year. After years of record-setting falling incomes, our policies are boosting take-home pay at a historic pace. Under Biden, real wages plummeted by $3,000. Under Trump, the typical factory worker has seen a wage increase of $1,300. For construction workers, it's $1,800. For miners, we're bringing back clean, beautiful coal. It's $3,300. And for the first time in years, wages are rising much faster than inflation. Remember that. The wages, just look at it. Wages are going up much faster than inflation. How big is that? Very importantly, there are more people working today than at any time in American history, and 100% of all jobs created since I took office have been in the private sector. Think of that. 100% of all jobs have been in the private
I mean,
sector
we could go on and
rather
on
than
and on. I mean,
government.
it gets a little bit, he's just like, he's saying how great he is. I did such a great job. Look at all the stuff that I did. You know, it's something, you know, if you think about it. But in the grand scheme of things, is this something that we should be really that focused on when we have crazier things happening? Like, did you know that the Kennedy Center, you know the Kennedy Center, right? This is like a big deal with art, the exhibits that are going on, right? Well, because he basically saved the Kennedy Center from going under, they're renaming the Kennedy Center, DC's iconic art hub, the Trump Kennedy Center. Hang on a sec. Let me come back to you for a second. Did you hear that? All of you letter Q's out there in the audience. It's the Trump Kennedy Center. It's you know, look into it. I don't have time for this stuff. But remember that many, many moons ago, before our guy who's in charge of health right now is getting rid of all sorts of scheduled things that children have to have that are really unnecessary, getting rid of dyes and foods and everything else and trying to make our lives better and everything better. This is what they say, and this is what it seems to be. I don't know. I still haven't eaten that bag of Doritos, the nacho chips with the white bag. I just feel like it's more hubba-baloo. But, you know, you never know, right? This is what we want. We want everything to get better. But before, when he was running for president, I remember I had a dream about the old Robert Kennedy. And I said, oh, and at one point I even thought, oh my goodness, maybe he's going to be president. It's true. That was right after my accident. I had a concussion. But it was quick. It was when he gave his little speech and he was dropping out, it was very clear that he was going to end up taking the money in the bank, just like that Wrestlemania thing. So here's the thing. Trump Kennedy Center, it's now named after him. I think that's just a great picture. That's like a iconic picture right there. And, you know, say what you want about all this, but this is pretty interesting, and I'll show you why. Okay? Because it wasn't that long ago, August 5th, 2022? And this is the reason. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a heads up. You got to just give this a watch, okay? McMahon and Donald Trump had a hair versus hair match at Wrestlemania 23. I've talked about this on the show. Now this is where you get the goosebumps and everything gets really crazy. It was basically, you had Donald Trump and you had Vince McMahon, and both of them had a wrestler, and the main event would be those two wrestlers fighting each other in the ring. Okay, whoever lost the match, the winner of the match, the manager will say, whether it's Donald or Vince, get to shave the hair of the other one. It's strange, because let's just take a look at the wrestlers for a second. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, that's his middle name, Kennedy. A lot of people like to connect him to the Kennedys for whatever reason. His wrestler was, I want to remind you all that we are live right now. Just keep listening because it's going to get interesting. Named Umaga. Umaga is spelled U-MAGA. That's quite a coincidence, you would think. So here you have a picture of MAGA being partnered with a Kennedy on one side of the ring. And then on the other side of the ring, you have Bobby. That's Robert. It's a nickname for Robert. And Donald Trump. Bobby's last name is Lashley. When you think of Lash, 40 lashes. 40 being WrestleMania, the day before the eclipse in 2024. Very strange. So we have Bobby and Trump, and we have Kennedy and Umaga and UMAGA. I think that's coincidental. It kind of makes it look like... So you get the idea, right? You get the idea that this was always going to be Trump and Kennedy, Kennedy and Trump. So it's no wonder that it's now named the Trump Kennedy Center. And I got to tell you something. It's not going to be long before he's up there on Mount Rushmore, right? Who's with me? Who thinks that's going to happen? It's probably going to happen, right? It's probably going to happen. Oh, the day that we're in. I'd like to see it happen. I'll tell you honestly, I'm enjoying the show. I'm drinking dandelion tea today. I've never had it before. It's horrible. It's not as bad as wormwood tea, but it's pretty awful. It's pretty awful. Hey, listen, I'd like to give you an opportunity to, if you want to support the channel, you know how they do their shows and they always do their ads right off the bat. I try to keep it to the end, but you know what? If you want to support the channel, get some of the merch, get some of the truly free home, toxic free stuff. I use it, dishes, laundry, soap. It's less expensive, environmentally, sound, helps you, no chemicals, no nothing. You go into the description of every video that I do, and there's a link there, 30% off. Okay? If you want to support the channel. Trump, Kennedy, Trump. This is an interesting time, right? He just reclassified something. Does anybody know in the comments section what that is in the live chat? Don't write it because it may make it harder for people to find the show. You know, we're talking about Mary Jane, right? And now it's reclassified, which is going to open the doors to so much things. And I say hallelujah. I say hallelujah because I know what an impact it can make on the lives of so many people that are suffering today. A lot of stuff's going on. A lot of wars being stuffed out. 8 down. We're going to have another one to go. A lot of people in the beginning, including myself, right? I never demonized President Trump, but I called him out for all the stuff that happened during the virus of the crown, all that stuff. But then I said, everything's going to be taken from you because it's a story of Nebuchadnezzar. I did this. I literally plead out. You've been watching long enough. I said, he's going to lose it all because of that dream that I had. Remember the dream, the coffin dream with the swamp moss? I said, you're going to lose it all, but you know what? There's going to be a root in the ground. It's the story of Nebuchadnezzar. I said, if you repent, if you come back, God will use you to make things better. Doesn't discount the stuff that's happened in the past, but I tell you one thing, things seem to be getting better, a little better. I mean, my eggs aren't like $12, Gas is very inexpensive. I don't feel like I'm being persecuted I'm getting persecution for my name. That's a whole other thing that's going to be wiped out very shortly. You watch. It was all a big honeypot. I warned you, which is a good thing because all of you, you know that it's not good to label people. It's good to just love people and carry on. But this is a big deal. So one thing after another thing seems to be happening. And I'm quietly, not quiet. I'm like, this is what I do, right? Everybody listen up. I'm going to use my power of my words and my faith. And I'm going to say that everything's going to get better. We're not going to have this war. I'm telling everybody was so stressed out about Venezuela. And guess what ends up happening? What happens? Nothing. Just like I said. So I put a post out. I put that video out with President Donald Trump. And in it, I talked about, Tucker Carlson, who ironically, at my 20-year anniversary, I had drinks with. I don't drink anymore, but, back then, I was, I drank at, I got drunk that night. It wasn't my best night. But Danielle and we had a good time, and Tucker Carlson, for whatever reason, was in that hotel. I had, long talk with this guy, not knowing that he would end up being who he is today. But here's the thing. It's very clear to me that there are a lot of people out there that are they're maybe paid, or maybe they're just paid not as propagandists and to accomplish something, but it's very clear that they get a lot of money for, the stuff that they put out, right? They're making a lot of money. Like Candace is making a lot of money. These people, multi-millionaires. I'm selling the old mattresses. I could use the support if you want. You go to links in the description. These people got millions of dollars coming in. People like Tucker Carlson's got it's ridiculous how much money they have. And they say, this is going to happen. Then everybody parrots it. Boop, 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 boop. And I come on, I say, nah, it's not going to happen. I put that out. Let me see if I could find this. I'll show you. I said, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, But everybody else is going to say that it's going to happen. And, here we are. Okay, here's him. Now, here's wild, right? I did this video called The Takeover. Nothing can stop what's coming, okay? Whose face is right there? That's February 4th, 2025. And then let's take a look over here. Guess what President Donald Trump posts? He posts this really cool. I mean, this is a cool. I mean, look at this. Wouldn't his face go perfect? Look at that right there. How nice that would look on Rushmore. And that's what he's saying. Ironically, exactly 7 months from when I said it was coming. So just keep your eye out on Rushmore. That's the next thing. Okay. Before we get into this, I got to talk to you about dreams a little bit. I have a lot of weird dreams, and if you're not following me on X at JacobIsrael71, I know a lot of you are. I see you all. I see you, Frog World, Larf haters. You guys got some funny names. Sister, Frog Worldly. Yeah, the world, right? It's nuts. It's nuts. Yeah, Just Some is saying, worked for McMahon, talked to Tucker, friends with Donut, was associated with, no, I wasn't associated with Christopher Green. I call Christopher Green out all the time. I'm not friends with him. I don't even know him. I like Alex Donut a lot. Christopher Green, no. He's another one of those guys. I did videos about him, you goofball. But anyway, yeah, I did work for the WWE. I did. God placed me there. You know what the last thing I did before I was fired from that place was? I wrote for this group called The Right to Censor, and I had Stevie Richards in the ring, you know, and he was saying, one day the whole world will know how corrupt you are. And he's no longer with the WWE. Then I went and God put me in the Christian TV. Can you believe that? Yeah, this guy, I am a witness. He put the witness right there. Christian TV, the largest Christian TV. This guy who came from nothing, right there. And what ends up happening? They say, oh, you guys got to stop doing this stuff. You got to be better. And what happens? You know, the whole thing blows up. I got fired by them, too. Then I start my YouTube channel selling mattresses. And what do? They try to stuff me down, stifle me and everything else. You know, the only inside scoop I got is the Lord. And that's the truth. On my children's lives. That's what I mean. On my children's lives. Nobody tells me nothing, you know. I have dreams. I have weird dreams. I share them. I had a dream just recently. I shared it on X, and you know what happened? Well, it turned out to come true. Today I was on my roof. I almost killed myself. I was so scared because it's really stormy right now, and well, I came home and like the shingles, not the shingles, the siding, the flashing on the siding was like all ripped off. And I had a dream just like last week, and I posted it that like the front of my house was ripped off. This is weird. Stuff like this happens. I encourage people to write their dreams down for a reason, because one day you come on here and what happens is you have something to share and you're like, you know, check this out. I had this dream, and then here it happens. Sometimes the dreams are a little depressing. You know, sometimes they're not so great. And this one that I had wasn't so great. It was a weird one. I'm going to show this to you, okay? This has to do with Brown and the attack that just went down, okay? 33 days or 1 month, 3 days before Brown University happened at the Holly building, I dreamed some kind of freaky details. I was walking on a college campus. A crazy, angry, grown man attacked me, and I escaped by pretending to ignore it. As I dreamed, I opened the door to a place flowing like baths or like tubs, or it was like a little, like rivers almost. 2. And inside a building, 2 flowing rivers like bathtubs or pools. Well, the Barris Holly building is where fluid mechanics is. And they have like wave stuff. And today's news is, well, let me just show this to you. Okay, let me show you this. This is the original dream that I had right here. I'm looking for something. I wish I could blow this up. I'm looking for something on a college-like campus. Opened the door. A grown man came at me and threw his own poop on me. What color is that? It's brown. That'll make sense in a second. I was mortified, but I kept walking to find where I was going. I opened the door to a place of flowing rivers like baths, too. Second part of the dream, there's a serial killer in our midst. I found a safe in a college dorm room, which he shared. Someone point to a key hidden beneath the molding on a pillar. I used the key to open the safe and pulled out a secret drawer where I saw hundreds of women's necklaces. Before we get a chance to call the police, the roommate came back as we suspected. Was not happy about it. Now, that's a weird dream, okay? It's a very weird dream. But where the attack went down, they have stuff like I saw. It's weird. They study fluid mechanics. It was like a physics building. And weird still is the fact that, the bear and what that's connected to, right? Second Amendment, the bear, the two bears in Alyssa's time. Alicia's, right? Remember the cyber bear? Bears showing up everywhere, remember? Then I was talking about pigs showing up everywhere. Even Russia. Putin just said that the EU, that they're swine, like little piglets. Still talking about the pigs. And what are the pigs? If you didn't see my last show, you should check it out because it's about all this stuff. Kind of tells us where we're going. Jesus said if you can look at the weather and you know what's going to come the next day, why can't you look at the signs? How many of you are looking at the signs? Let me just pull this up and let me show this to you. Okay? So I have that weird dream, and let me just show it to you right here. There was a serial killer in our midst. Okay? I found a safe. Now this is weird. I'm on a college-like campus. It's weird because it was exactly 33 days before this stuff took place. So I put a post out. Let me see if I can find it. I put a post out where I said, if we hear that this is connected to other, killings, if this would be like a serial killer thing, I said, then we know that this dream was God inspired. And then what came out like the next day was news that he was connected to the MIT. It's weird, and that's why I said test complete. So here, this is what I wrote. Look what I wrote. I wrote, so if there's a serial killer in our midst, like I saw in my dream, let's put a test out there that he'll be found. I'm going to say that again. So I have a dream. This is the dream. I'm on a college campus. I'm looking. A grown man comes out like running with poop in his hand. So I'm looking at this poop and he wants to smear it on me. And I'm running. And I open a door and I see these flowing rivers like baths. Then I realize there's a serial killer in our midst. And I found his college dorm room. And what ends up happening? Well, this guy, he went there. He went there. Between two rivers. Guess what? Do you know what university sits between two rivers? Brown. Between two rivers. The building. I walk in and it looked like it was weird. Fluid dynamics. Strange. I said that if we hear of a serial killer, that means like somebody who does more than just one. We may hear of others. Could you imagine how terrible? But I said, let's put a test out there. If we hear about it, let's hope that he's found. And he was found. Let's do it. Let's smash the like for that. I mean, can someone tell me in the chat, is this being lost on you? Or do you see how incredible that is? Like I put the post out, I was like, oh, you know what? I bet this guy's going to end up doing more. The next day. Let me show you. You don't believe me? Let me show you. Let me show you. Here we go. Shooter also did the MIT one. I don't know
Rhode
how
Island, but then
she's
back to Boston.
Here.
And then there was the security footage that captured him within a half mile of...
I don't want to play too much, just because this stuff stresses me out. But here we go. Take a look. If there's one in our midst, like I said in the dream, let's put a test out there. He'll be found. And then I said, well, if we find out this person was a former student or a current employee, it is because of the dream. This is because of the dream. Come on. This is some good stuff. I mean, don't you think? Is it just me? Or do you think that this is encouraging? It's going to get more encouraging. It's going to get weirder, because we have so much coming at us all the time. I think you need to know that it's already finished. How else would we get these glimpses of these things in our dreams? I don't know what it means. What's the goal of me on this channel? What do you think I basically I do? What do I do when I come on here? All I do is I share my faith with you. I share my life with you. Try to encourage you. And what do I tell you to do? Do I say, oh, you better do this? You know, I watch it's Christmas time. Everybody's doing their giving. They're sharing events. You know, it's because of you. You know, I've been doing this before. You know, YouTube paid me nickels. And I'm going to do it after, right? God always provides. I would love for you all to support more. I would love for people, if you never do, give me $1. You know, give me a coffee. Could you imagine? These videos get like 10,000. Be great. I went in for my hearing aid yesterday, by the way, to see if it would help with this terrible tinnitus. Like it's blasting all the time. And, yeah, it didn't really help much because, you know, it's just like the $3,500 or something. And the only thing they can do really is they can help me hear a little better. Like I was hearing a little bit better. And I don't have to like question as much, and my ear, it felt less full. I don't know if anybody has any hearing issues, but like your ear feels like it's underwater all the time. It sucks. Yeah. So, and it distracts you, and sometimes you lose your train of thought because you start to hear it and you get confused. You wonder why I went back to selling the old mattresses. But the point is that it's a lot of money. And all it did was it played waves in my ear. It was like I'd be walking around here in the ocean all the time in one ear. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. So forget it, you know. But anyway, thank you if you do support. And you know where to go. So this is a pretty strange thing, okay? But it encourages me. But this is not it. This is not the end. We have so much more to get to. You know how many other things pull together and come together just like inexplicably? I get so like the chills when this stuff happens, okay? You remember when I put this out, right? This one on 11/20. Soon you're going to be hearing about the pigs, the swine, right? I just did my last show. If you haven't seen my last show on the Maccabees, you really should check it out. Like I said, pigs are everywhere. I said back in the day that it's going to dominate the news. It dominated the news. That's this big story. So I put this one out, then I put another show out. So if you haven't seen them, check them out. And if you want to follow me on X, please do. But guess what? Little piggies, piglets, calls them swine. Now, that's interesting if he's calling you little pigs, little swine. Who's the wolf? That's the big question. Who's the wolf? But once again, more tests complete proof. Okay. This whole terrible attack that took place, which happened in Australia, the good that came out of it is that now there are a lot of videos of Jews and Muslims coming together, hugging each other, encouraging each other. I put that out as a hope. It was actually in my last video. I shared one of them. Now I've seen like 2 more. And it's very encouraging. We got to put our differences in our belief systems aside because there is only one God over all of us, right? I know you all think it's your God that's over, but it's the same God over all of us. You may have your idea of what that God is, but it's the same God. So our best foot forward is to just say, please teach me the truth. Please lead me the way. When I do these shows, I've never seen anybody share the stuff that I've shared on here. I've never seen anybody have weird dreams that happen again and again and again, or put little tests out. I haven't seen it. I know it's out there. I haven't seen it. I see a lot of fake prophets and all that stuff come up. I call myself a meatball. That's the difference. I'm not like everybody else. I'm like you. We're supposed to be witnesses. But guess what? The witnesses have been speaking. The witnesses, I'll say it again, have been speaking. I've been on here for a long time. You've been on here with me. Are we not doing this right now? Is fire not coming out of our mouths? A truth that destroys the lies? Tucker Carlson, there's not going to be a war. And there's no war. Our words have power. Faith creates. If I say everything's getting better and I do it in faith and I ask for that I see not, then I do with faith, pray, and guess what happens? God gives it to us. This is the day we're in. You don't believe me? Let me show you some other things that just very, very strange. Who remembers this thing right here that just went down? Yeah, yep. We had a couple of these toppling. Right? Let's watch that one more time. A couple of these compliments actually kind of gave me the old I pet goat. Remember? When the lady falls. Well, you know, ironically, take a wild guess. Just take a look at that. Falling. Now here's wild. Okay, hang on, let me come back to you because, you know, it's not just one thing to just do a video titled Fallen with the Statue of Liberty and then talk about the towers that are going to fall and then use it as an example of what's about to fall. And then exactly a certain amount of time later, it falls. But it's a whole other thing for when you do this to have those numbers, okay? 1 month, 11 days ago, my video, Woe to You, Great City, It's Coming Down. Look at this. And then 1 month, 11 days later, what happens? It falls down. I just want to play you just a little bit of this because you're going to see the 111 like right off the bat.
Central Rome, injuring 4 construction workers. The building is near the Colosseum and the Forum. It was built in the 13th century as a residence for the family of Pope Innocent III.
Okay, come on. Hang on. Let me come back to you. Let me come back to you for a second. That alone should be like mind-blowing. But then when you listen to what I'm saying in the video, it's just strange. You know? It's just strange. What are the odds I do this video with, let me come back. What are the odds? Okay? Now remember, this is like the third thing we're talking about here. What are the odds that this happens exactly, right? Woe to you, great city, it's coming down. Statue of Liberty's fallen. 111. 1 month, 11 days. And in this video, I'm going to let you just watch just a couple of minutes of it because it's also a pretty fire video. And if you didn't see it, it'll make you want to go back and watch it. But it's very, very appropriate for the day we're in right now. Okay, so enjoy this. I'm going to just probably play like a minute or two. All right, take a listen.
Tower has collapsed in central Rome, injuring 4 construction workers. The building is near the Colosseum and the Forum. It was built in the 13th century as a residence for the family of Pope Innocent III.
After this I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority, and the earth was illuminated by his splendor. With a mighty voice he shouted, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She has become a dwelling for demons, and a haunt for every impure spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean and detestable animal. For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. When the kings of the earth who committed adultery with her and shared her luxury see the smoke of her burning, they will weep and mourn over her. Terrified at her torment, they will stand far off and cry. Mighty city of Babylon, in 1 hour your doom has come.
I can tell you something. You know, I don't know if you know how I actually do this stuff, but you know, when I create, you know, these songs and everything, I'm using scripture. That's like straight out of scripture, and then I'll just like produce it. And I try to like, you know, I want to give you something that nobody else has given you. I don't know if you notice, I'm a little bit different on this channel than most people. You know, a lot of people just come on, they're just talking heads. I want to, you know, give you an experience too. And at sometimes I feel like this is like, I feel like these are proofs of the power of God. I could be wrong. You got to tell me in the comment if you think that that's the case. Or you got to give me a like so that I know that you're enjoying it. Which, by the way, everybody, we got a lot of people watching. If everybody can just smash the like right now, that would be super helpful. Appreciate everybody. I love when you guys come on into the live chat. I wish more of you would subscribe because, I only make the live chat for subscribers only. But I wish more of you that watch, because a lot of you watch aren't subscribers. I wish you would. I wish you would check the bell for notifications. I really do. I really wish you would. And I wish that if you've never left a comment before, you leave one. It would mean a lot to me because I do go into the comment section. This is the day we're in. I feel like I'm here to help all of you, to just kind of remind you that, look, I said it was coming down and I hear it's coming down, right? And it's just, and we're okay, right? We're okay. Okay, so here's weirder. So basically, President Donald Trump right now, he's testing the theory here with the Patriot Games. Okay, and a lot of people are calling it, obviously, the Hunger Games. Well, I mean, that's no coincidence, considering if you take a look at, that's 2021. I mean, I tried to make it look very much like, the Hunger Games. I even titled it, May the Odds Be in Your Favor. Much more than inauguration fashion. I said that it was coming. But at the time, I was like, oh, God. Now, if that was to become true, it would have to be down the road after some kind of it would have to be, that's just not the world I'm seeing. It's not the world that I'm seeing. I refuse to see a world where, these people that are going into the Patriot Games. Look, I think that this is going to be, I'm going to put this out in faith. This is going to be good for the country. It's going to give people, instill a little bit of pride in their, in their state and everything else. And maybe it's not going to be as terrible as in 5 years' time if there's some kind of an event or something, or things get out of hand that people start, fighting to the death or something, which would be horrible. But I mean, if you have states that are divided, I guess it's not without the realm of possibility. You have to tell me, but it's not going to start that way. The Patriot Games, I don't know when he's going to start it, but it's going to start, I guess, probably on the best foot. I think that it may actually be a good thing, but it's also something that, once again, I did say was coming. Wasn't very hard to see that. I mean, for crying out loud, here, I'm just going to play this is a, like a short, because Songbirds and Snakes came out just recently, and it talked about how the games were about to start. Just take a listen to this.
We're live!
People were really giving this film a hard time. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. Like, a lot of people get a problem because, whatever, she was woke. I don't know how it goes. Ethan wanted to see it, so of course I go and I start watching all the reviews and I started reading about it. And I wasn't planning on going to see it for fun, but when I got the vibe, what if this is where we're headed? This movie was how they established the Hunger Games. They were trying to figure everything out. They were just starting because there was a massive flu that some mad engineer engineered.
I want my enemies to see a rainbow of destruction. Rainbow of destruction.
And there was this great uprising, this terrible civil war, and so the Hunger Games came of that, and the districts. What if that's where we're going? I mean, it's not without the realm of possibility that this could happen. I'm not expecting it to happen, for sure. But I mean, that's wild, right? Here we go again and again and again. I'll tell you, this whole thing with the Ivy League colleges, these events, spooky. It'll be weird. Look, it's strange that I said, we find out that he went to the school there and he had a dorm room there. Could you imagine now if the rest of the dream comes true? Like a roommate turns him in and we find he has trophies and he'd been doing this. He'd been going around and just taking care of, I don't know. Who knows if it's even real in the grand scheme of things? You know, what is real? That's that big question that I've been asking. What is real? You know? And I guess the answer that I've come to is, you know, the love that's in my heart, I know for a fact is real. You know, what I can see and what I can feel is real. And I got to take everything with a grain of salt that I see online, because you never know, you know? You never know. But you don't want to diminish it either. I suggest, because I'm sus of a lot of things, right? I mean, for crying out loud, I'm connecting the Grinch and Grimace and stuff to horrible events. I'm a little bit of a speculator who has an imagination and is just a writer and does this for entertainment purposes, you know, and spiritual encouragement. But the grand scheme of things, you know, it's the spirit of the story that matters. That's always been the spirit of the story, right? Like if tomorrow I found out that Noah's Ark, the literal ark, didn't exist, and that the ark was actually the same thing that carried Moses down, you know, into Egypt. The ark was the same thing that carries the Lord, the spirit of the Lord, same thing that was in the temple, same word. If I found out that the literal boat wasn't real, is that going to bother me? It was probably a boat, right? I'm sure probably didn't carry every. What does it matter? It could be a spaceship with every life form on it. We could be in a simulation on that spaceship just taking a snooze till we get to Mars, for all we know. But what I'm getting at is it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. You can't lose your sense of empathy just because a lot of it seems so phony and so out there, you know? Like, it's almost ridiculous how crazy everything does seem. Is it just me? I mean, you could tell me. And yes, everybody, Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm gonna probably see you before Christmas. But I really hope that everybody has I hope you're all having a wonderful Hanukkah or whatever. I don't know what all the holidays are. But I hope that you're all doing good. This is an important time of the year, you know. And we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it together, especially since exactly 2 years ago, look at this. What does this post say? Looks like some of that list is about to be exposed on sealed docs. And what's the day? December 19th, 2023. And what's coming out today? I mean, that's some timing, you know? That's some timing. All of this stuff is very timely indeed. I like how it adds up. But you know what? In the grand scheme of things, does it matter? All that matters is that you got a little bit of enjoyment today. You came here and you realized that, you know what? Maybe life's not so scary after all. I got good look so far. I haven't let you down, right? Right? The world hasn't blown up. Hasn't been an EMP. Remember all those days when everybody was like, it's coming. I'm like, no. And I put out a poem and I was like, the Northern Lights will come. And it was the first time the Northern Lights came to New York, Long Island. God is good. If you seek the kingdom of God, everything's going to be added on to you. We got to get out of the fear mindset. We got to get out of when you're scared, you turn into a bunch of jerks. So do I. When I get scared, I get angry. Who do I take it out on? Usually I'll take it out on Danielle. And usually Danielle will take it out on me. And if I'm scared when it comes to something in my children's life, and I think the worst, like, you know, our Wi-Fi was a little spotty, and I'm like, nobody's touched the new, because we got the new Wi-Fi. You know, we got the box that comes with the Optimum, and we'd been using something else, but it wasn't really working well. And so we were like, let's cough up the $12 a month or whatever it costs to get something a little bit better, because it's kind of important to do these things, right? This is what I do. And it's still, we had a couple of issues. First thing that came to mind was, I'm like, did anybody touch it? And then someone said, oh, I reset it. I'm like, well, why did you reset it? You know, like that. I wasn't that animated, but I'm like, but I felt it coming up, the fear, like, you broke it. And that's not even true. It's not even true. And of course, my youngest, you know, would know how to do more than I would when it comes to signals to begin with. You know, listen, all of this stuff that's happening right now, whatever you're going through, and I see that, you know, if you want to, you want to tell me what you're going through, I'd love to end the show by just, talking to a lot of you. And if there's anything that you want to say, put it out there while we're still together. And, I'll try to address it. And if I can't address it here, you know where to go. You go into the links in the description. If you want to support on PayPal, you want to go to Patreon, you want to get some merch, you want to get some truly free, get yourself a Uranus is a planet, which, by the way, Uranus is why I got it. Remember, as a joke, because I thought it was funny. I always laughed, Uranus is a planet. But it's Uranus, that's the way you pronounce it, and it's actually the Greek word for heaven. So there's a little irony for you that the world will turn something ugly and gross when it's actually the word for heaven. See what fear does? It ruins us. All right, you tell me if you think that those dreams came true, and if you think that it's interesting. And maybe you'll start to believe that maybe God can lead you. And all you got to do is ask. It's that, and then listen, Usually don't let it be fear. That's the litmus test. Let love guide you. Always let love guide you. Peace is your roadmap. If you're fighting with somebody, you try to make peace. That's the way to go. All right, I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming, spending some time with me live. I see a lot of people saying, I'll pray for you, Terry. So, Terry, I think I may know who Terry is. I love Terry very much, if it's who I think it is. But I'm going to be praying for Terry, too. All right, I'll talk to you all soon. Be good. I love you. Bye-bye.